There we go. Welcome to another episode of This Is My Story. And for a wat noem ons hom vir 'n ander?
This is my story.
Yeah, this is my story. Well, I'm at the receiving side of things today. Welcome to another episode of This Is My Story. Shaltyd on this side. And without further ado,
Juan Venter on this side.
Juan Venter on that side. You can hear him a bit, ek is 'n bietjie senuweeagtig vandag want hy het my op die blik gesit. Ek moet die onderhoud voer in Engels. En voor ons Engels doen, Kaapvoet tuisies aan hierdie kant, ons moet hom net opgooi. So without further ado, it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you
Juan Venter.
And he's going to tell his story. I'm not going to yet again give you feedback on the YouTube channel. That is my story, this is my story. And as I know, and you guys know, I always do it in Afrikaans. But John, he sort of said to me, there's only one way of him, not one way, daar's slegs een manier hoe hy gaan praat op hierdie kanaal, as dit Engels is. So he's pulling the strings today.
Nee, I think jy sit my in 'n blik hier so. No, I think it would be maybe better if we do it in English so we can cover a wider audience. And then we'll try. We'll sort of gooi.
Ons gaan hom fix, ons gaan hom wax. And apologies to the viewers outside. I was sort of doing a putting him on the spot and leaving him on his own, and I would have just stand up and walk away. So what we're going to do today, we're going to have a dialogue, just chatting about what he's going through at this point in time in his life. So again, if we cut and stop and fill in our ears and with our hair, just bear with us. The idea, and it's going to be a first for me as well on the channel, is to have a dialogue and to just chat with someone about his current experience that he's going through in his life. So John, if we also, whilst we chatting away, do a bit of Afrikaans, that's okay?
Ja, nee wat.
Okay. So to start off, John, tell us a bit about yourself.
It's where to start, So to keep it short, I'm a professional photographer, so I do generate all my income from photography, and try our best to make a living at this stage. It's not been very easy, especially with COVID, and now especially now with my health. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that now.
Okay, just short bit of history. John and myself, we met each other. It was the Mighty Men.
Yeah, Mighty Men. Well, we met each other before via the camera clubs, but we really got to know each other and bonded more when I did all the media with the Mighty Men in 2015. Yeah,
that's been long. It's many moons ago. And interesting on that, he actually recorded me whilst I was on a bike, and I've damaged, I think, one of his items, if you can remember.
Yeah, I had a microphone and a camera rigged on the bike, and then the microphone came off the camera, and then we lost a little bit of wires here and there.
Whilst we sort of chatting, it's going through my mind how we're going to approach this in terms of a dialogue or just chatting away. And I think we're going to turn away from the cameras and just have a chat. Just now and then we'll look at the camera, if it's okay with you guys, but follow the story. We're going to edit and chat away and whatever we have to do. But the idea is just to have an informal, nice chat to the bone, and it's no pun intended. I think it might get down to that. So John, we've known each other for years, but a while ago you received some bad news. I think give us some intro, some background, and then we can fire away.
Yeah, it was during last year, mid last year, I started discovering a lump in the top end of my thigh. Showering at night, and then I felt this lump, and then at first were not concerned about it, but yeah, it started to prickle a little warning sign in the back of my head, you know. So left it, and then, you know, after a few weeks, this lump is a little bit bigger, and then it started to grow quite substantially bigger very quickly, you know, and that's when then I knew something is not right, you know. But then already, you know, I could feel in my body, this is not something small, you know. And that's when we started to go to the doctors and start the process of testing and eliminating, you know, to try and find out what it is, you know. Is it infection at first, or is that the big C, you know, if it's cancer or not?
When you discovered a lump, I mean, obviously from the viewer side, not sure how many of you know people that been diagnosed with cancer or went through the process, or maybe yourself, but for me, and blessed not to being diagnosed with that type of thing. So in terms of, you've been diagnosed, there's a lump or something, how big is this thing? Or
well, it started off small, you know, like a little bit bigger than a pea, you know, like or the small top side of your thumb, you know. And it is in the area where your lymph nodes are, you know. So first thing we thought it was possibly just infection somewhere in the body, and that's and then it's drained down into the lymph nodes, you know. But when that started to grow quite aggressively, that's when we knew something is not right, you know.
so at what point were you maybe informed or told about this? Were you away or at home?
Yeah, I was busy with a workshop out in Zamanga doing wildlife photography, one of the best resorts in South Africa for wildlife photography.
Sorry, on that, this is another point where we do like intro, Zamanga, sponsor, photographer, bing, here we go.
So yeah, I was busy with a workshop in Zamanga in December, and but prior to that, we've had quite extensive tests done. When she got a biopsy done, and then the doctor took my number and then said he will then give me a call as soon as he got an answer from the biopsy.
Okay, so you were not at home when you received the news?
No, I was on that workshop in Zamanga, you know. So yeah, I was away with a workshop, and then I actually didn't get the phone call from the doctor because I was in a hide with no reception, and my wife was at the lodge, and I gave the doctor my wife's number as well, and then he actually phoned her and gave her the news, you know. But then once I arrived back at the lodge, my wife then told me, no, it's I was definitely diagnosed with cancer, with a lymphoma.
Okay, but surely the news wouldn't have been brought to you that way. Oh yeah, Charmaine. Hello, Charmaine. He's married. His wife, Charmaine. I'm going to be in trouble. So obviously, I mean, if I were to get news like that, in terms of what's going through your mind, and from Charmaine's side, she's not here. How did you guys deal with it?
It was actually not a big shock for me because I already I knew it was definitely not an infection. This is definitely cancer, and I basically just had to get I just got to get the news that it is definitely and not just a growth or anything like that, but deep down, I actually knew that this is not, it's not just a growth or anything. It was too aggressive, it grew too quickly and everything. I mentally already knew that this is cancer, and yeah, it was not really a shocker for me, but it do shock you actually mentally, you know, that yeah, you do have cancer, and now you've got to fight this thing, you know, and start preparing yourself, you know.
But at that point in time, in terms of, or in terms of, one so often hear from other people that, okay, cancer, it's like, there's, you know, it's a death sentence now. Yeah, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Where did you go with this in terms of your thoughts? It's clear now. It's done. You know, it's over 2 years. I'm going to put the lights out.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because at that stage we didn't know exactly which cancer it is. We just knew it is a positive cancer and it's definitely lymphoma. But which one? Because there's so many in the lymphoma. So yeah, we didn't at that stage. I didn't knew what the prognosis possibly would be. But I, with a shadow of the doubt, I didn't thought that this is a death sentence. I think with medicine now, and if you catch it early enough, which is very important, you can overcome it. But yeah, there is certain cancers that if you leave it too late, it, you know.
Okay. So on that, if you leave it too late.
Yeah.
So you left it too late?
No, I didn't leave it too late. I luckily did, when it started growing quickly, I luckily didn't start investigating in it and went to the doctors and eventually after some more scans and everything we could stage it because after the news that I do have cancer I had to go back in and get CT scans done so that they can then they inject you with a colouring and then they scan the whole body and then they can then see in how many parts of the body is the cancer already, you know.
So again, sorry to interrupt, so if you say they inject you with a colouring, what does that entail?
It's a type of radioactive fluid so that it goes into all your organs and all your lymph nodes and everything so that it can actually literally shine up in the scans.
Oh.
So depends on where there is cancer, it will then they will be able to see it a lot better. So it how can I say glow more in cancer tissue.
Yeah.
And then from there then I can try and see then where it is, how wide is it spread out, you know. And then only then you can get staged, you know.
Okay, stage, explain.
It's not the same in all cancers. You get stage 1, 2, 3 and 4. The different cancers work differently or they get staged differently. In lymphoma, in my case, stage 1 is that you've got cancer just in one lymph node. Below the chest cavity or below your diaphragm, you know.
So sorry, below your diaphragm?
Below your diaphragm, if you've got one, if you've got cancer in one lymph node, then it's stage 1.
Okay.
So if you've got multiple lymph nodes with cancer, then it's stage 2, but it's still below the diaphragm. If you've got cancer in more of your organs, then above the diaphragm, then it goes to stage 3, and then if it's spread out in all your organs and everything, then it goes to stage 4. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in stage.
So I'm in stage 2. So I've got multiple. I've got cancer in multiple lymph nodes below the diaphragm.
Okay. Then just and when Charmaine told you about this, what was her reaction when she gave you the news?
It was, yeah, she sort of didn't want to give me the news, but I knew in her face that that was the news, yeah. So it was not easy.
So one can sort of try to say cowboys don't cry beforehand, but I mean we're all human. So to deal with something like this, it might sound silly, but how do you deal with something like this?
I think with will and by strength, you just got to put your head to it and deal with it. It doesn't help to roll in the ball and run away from it, because it's there and you got to get it treated. So that was the first thing. I didn't even, how can I say, I didn't even second thought of going alternative treatment. It was very aggressive, and then the doctor also said the type is quite aggressive, and we got to start treating it soon. So the quicker we started, the better the outcome would be.
So let's fast forward this maybe. Maybe you guys are there. For me, it's to get a sort of an idea as to what you're going through, not on the mental side, but I think we're going to skip over to what's happening with you, with your body when you get a treatment. If we can maybe go there, and just so tell me so you've been diagnosed, it's coming now. You need to get treatment. What is the treatment? What do they do to you?
Okay, so in my case, the treatment I'm getting is the CHOP regime. That's just an abbreviation of 4 chemicals that you get via a drip. So you sit in the chair and then you get multiple drips that's got multiple chemicals in it. My session tomorrow is then another added on chemical that will work more with the white blood cells. So technically my cancer is a blood cancer, so it's a blood cancer typically. So I'm going to get 5 chemicals now, tomorrow, so, and it's going to be over a period of 6 hours that you sit in a chair and many drips that they then give you,
So if you can go back to your first treatment, obviously everything is new, and also just tell us where do you get the treatment, which facility, maybe quickly touch base on medical aid, but what I like to find out from you is, you go and sit there, there's a chair, you don't know the people, it's everybody, you don't know no one from a bar of soap, yet they plug stuff into you and drips and needles. Take us through that process. You're alone, you're on your own, nobody's with you. How does it feel going in there and then get that poison in your body? And take us through that process.
I think we can talk hours about this. To try and keep it short, is that I'm getting my treatment at Tygerberg Hospital. That's a government facility, and I must admit it's a fantastic facility, even though it's government. Fantastic nurses that are really concerned about your interest, and they are fantastic. I can just praise them all along, They knew straight away that it's your first time, and then stepped you through, and they say, look, we're going to do this is a drip that goes up, and really take your hand, It's not that they really do have a lot of time, because there's a lot of clients that gets treated, but I take my hats off, for them, for the way they actually do treat us, and then their workload that they do have, So in the treatment room there is about 6 highly qualified nurses. All of them are nurses and above, grade. So they all know what they need to do, and they really work very sufficiently, So you feel actually quite secure, that nobody's falling around and not knowing what they do. They double check who you are. When they bring the next chemical, they check, are you Mr. So-and-so, and they check that that's the right treatment that you're getting, So I'm feeling very relaxed with my treatment. You know?
So, what does the setup looks like? Is it like hospital beds or chairs, leather couches, music? What's it like in there?
It's a big open air room. They've actually just, my first treatment, it was still open, you know, like open, and then with chairs in the center, back to back, and then chairs all around the edges, and then nice inclined chairs that you can sit quite comfortably, with little workstations next to it where all the medical stuff goes, with hooks, you know, where all the IV drips and everything go. So in between, they actually renovated the room, so now there's little glass partitions between each chair, and it's actually really, and the center portion also is all glass partition, so you've got your own little privacy, as you can say it like it, and it's clean. Well, it's just been renovated, redone, the ceilings, lighting, everything, so it's really clean. Can't fault through it, you know.
So you'll pitch up there, point made, you go every...
Yeah, every 20 days, so it's every 3 weeks. So the procedure is that you go in very early, they do a blood transfer, draw your blood, and then they'll test your blood, and then you'll see a doctor, and then from that results, comparing to what your previous results were, then he can then see how well you've adapted to the treatment, if you've gone weaker or you're still staying strong, and if you do stay strong, then they can up the treatment and increase the dosage, you know. So it's not good for the side effects, because you then feel a lot more sick, but it's better for then the actual treatment, you know, because then...
Yeah. So typically, if you go in tomorrow, he briefly explained to me while we were en route to the house, is there's a number, you take a number, you always need to be number one. You'll then go into, you do have your blood results, but you will have your blood results by tomorrow. Doctors make a decision whether your body is strong enough to get that, I just call it poison, chemicals. And then you go and sit in a chair, they stick a, what do you call it?
Yeah, IV, needle in,
yeah.
And you get...
So what does your body feels like when that stuff gets absorbed into your system? What goes through, yeah.
Yeah, look, your first reaction is that you want to not accept that, because it's all poison, and it's really bad stuff. So mentally you've got to surrender to it, because otherwise you won't go through it. But once, and it's not all of them, but most of them, as soon as the IV starts running, then you get this start getting the metallic taste in your mouth, and so you always have a packet of sweets handy, and then you sit and eat the sweets, you know, to try and calm this terrible taste in your mouth, you know.
Any specific type of sweets you like?
Jelly babies mostly.
Jelly babies,
chocolates.
There you go. So is it like a metal taste?
Yeah.
And for how long?
No, that stays for a week and a half.
Oh my head.
At least, you know, until you get rid of, you know, most of the toxin out of your body again, and then it gets less and less. But you lose the taste in your mouth, you lose smell, you know, so...
Whilst in a chair there, or only
No, that's side effects afterwards, okay. Basically, you know.
So help me out here, whilst in a chair, I mean, that stuff goes through your veins, through your body, and tomorrow, if I'm correct, it's going to be 6 hours.
Yeah. The fifth one, I'm going to get the R chopped tomorrow, so the word, I'll have to swear if I have to tell you what the R stands for, but that's the one that now actually going to target more the white blood cells, because that's where the that's causing the cancer. It comes from the white blood cells. That they have to infuse very slowly over a 6-hour period.
Okay.
So the others go quite quick.
So if we say the others, your first treatments in terms of time?
Yeah, remember I was still getting another 4 chemicals with it.
With them?
Yes, yeah.
So it's like 95 lead-free and octane-ish. But that now, in all seriousness, the other chemicals, so that all attack the white blood cell, the bad cell?
No. All those other chemicals basically will attack your fast-growing cells.
So okay, if we say fast-growing in terms of?
Any fast-growing cells in the body.
Also a good cell?
Yeah, all your fast-growing cells. Because the cancer is, and especially the one in the lymphoma, and the one of mine is a very aggressive one. So it's a fast-growing, cells.
Yeah.
So it attacks the fast-growing cells. So, and that attacks all your fast-growing cells.
Good and bad?
Good and bad, yeah.
So your metabolism?
So all your how can I say in Afrikaans alle weerstand. Afrikaans, yeah.
Yeah.
So it attacks all your fast. So all your cells in your mouth. You get little ulcers in your tongue. That's why you lose your taste and everything, because your tongue, your cheeks, your throat, your stomach, your skin, the hair, so all, and in your nose, so that's why you lose also a lot of your smell and everything. So all the fast growing cells, it attacks that.
Yeah. Your metabolism, but we'll do this one in English. Your metabolisme wordt afgetakel.
Yeah, not quite your metabolism, but your resistance to any. So you pick up very quickly now any other sickness, So like now I've got a pacemaker drip that it's not going away, but yeah, there's nothing I can do.
Side effects of.
Not quite side effects, but it's just because my system is broken down. So body battling now to fight against it. Because it's the white blood cells that will fight against it, but that's what we need to try and fix, So,
yeah. But so now you're getting this stuff whilst in hospital after 6 hours. Will that then be a matter of I'm done, there goes it, and honky dory goes home? What?
Yeah.
How does your body react to it?
Yeah, it's a shock in the beginning, because it next minute you sit down, the next minute you've got an IV in your arm and it's in your body, So